January 6th, 2026 Charter Revision Commission meeting to order. I cannot stand up in these chairs. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to do it from right here.
Go for it.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Sorry, I can't stand up. The chairs move. Just for the publics. Next thing on the agenda is public audience. We're asking, as always, that the participants in public audience state their name and address, limit their comments to approximately 3 minutes, and the items that are on the agenda. We've received 2 public comments in writing earlier today that Franklin has printed off to us, a third in case somebody is not able to attend. And we have some people on Zoom, so I don't know. I'm gonna start with Wendy because she's sitting in the audience, and then we can go to the Zoom players and see who wants to speak, if that's all right with you.
Okay, I didn't time my things, but I should be quick. It's very so I know you guys are winding down.
I need your name and address.
Oh, when can I do this? I should know that. 16 Hunting Ridge Drive, Simsbury 06070. I came tonight because I know you guys are winding down after a year plus. I wanted to thank you from myself and the full Board of Selectmen. I think we did a fabulous time in picking this team of people. Chris, Paul, Jeff, Bert, Jacqueline, Jesse, Ron, Lalitha, and Melissa. I've stayed away because that was sort of the recommendation from the town attorney that we were going to provide you with our guidance and kind of keep out of it and let you guys use the expertise that you have, your know-how, research on other towns, and kind of come to decisions on the information that we provided. What I'm excited for is that you're getting to the end. You have your draft. It's going to go to a public hearing, and then the clock starts ticking for us to get it back, review it, and then potentially send it back. There are things that I've read in there. I've gotten through most of it that I think are great changes, things that I was looking for as a first selectman, as far as the boundaries, the lanes, and things like that. To me, that seems like a win. I'm sure there will be conversations on our side on things that were not taken up, and we will have to go back and research and listen to your arguments as to why you did or did not include certain things. Some people were at those meetings, some of us are going to be doing a lot of homework. But I just wanted to say that, I'm really happy that you guys got this done for us, and we're looking forward to taking it on over the next 3 months, I guess, probably, given the numbers and dates and stuff like that, to kindly get this to fruition. So just thank you all very much.
Thank you. So, Franklin, since you can see the screen, who on Zoom, we've got some people on Zoom. If you could raise your hand and let me know if you'd like to speak. Okay, I'll start with Charmaine since she's in the upper left-hand corner. It's like the Brady Bunch. Charmaine, you're up. If you can unmute yourself, state your name and address, and limit your comments to approximately 3 minutes, we'd appreciate that.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you. Okay,
great. I'm Charmaine Seavey. I've lived at 18 Quarry Road with my husband since 1985 in Simsbury. Since April 2024, I've been the chair of the Economic Development Commission, and prior to that, I served on the Economic Development Commission and also on the EDC Task Force with Chris Barnett, full disclosure. I also served on the Tourism Committee for about 10 years before that was rolled into the Economic Development Commission. For over 30 years, I've had my own business, CB Media Incorporated, in Simsbury. So as a citizen and as a business owner, economic development and the grand list and taxes are all very important to me. So important to me, I've spent many years of my time trying to help Simsbury. And considering the uptick in taxes, the Economic Development Commission is in the process of figuring out ways to work with businesses and developers to increase the grand list. The EDC is far from a dormant or stagnant commission, and should not be taken off the charter, is my opinion. The EDC is an active group of members and liaisons working together in a bipartisan way who are working without pay to develop and to help Simsbury grow economic development with developers and businesses. And I hope that the Charter Revision Committee will reconsider the red lines that presently delete all the EDC from the charter. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I know there's some other hands, but I didn't see them all.
All of them, right there.
All of them. So upper right-hand corner, I don't know, I can't see.
It says Matt.
Matt? Sorry,
Yep,
I
that's
can't
me.
see from the angle, Matt. I apologize.
No worries. Yeah, I'll keep mine under 3, I'm sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Arthur. I live at 15 Laurel Lane. I've lived in Simsbury for about 5 years. Have a young family. Professionally, I'm in sales for a beer, wine, and spirits importer. First, I'd like to echo Wendy's comments. Thank you for your time and effort you put into the charter revision process. Certainly not lost on us, on me. I'd like to briefly address the omission of the Economic Development Commission from the charter prior to final adoption tonight, I believe. I've served on the Economic Development Commission for the past 24 months, including most of that time as vice chair. During that period, we've held regularly monthly meetings, grown the commission from minimal participation to full membership, and dedicated many hours working with key stakeholders across town, as well as with regional partners focused on economic development in the greater Hartford area. Overall, our goal has been to establish a clear framework and effective ways of working that will help position Simsbury for long-term economic success. That work has not been without its challenges, admittedly, particularly given the number of entities in town are involved or interested in economic development and the fact that our approach still remains somewhat siloed. That said, I won't be on the commission forever for one reason or another, so I'm not really speaking as a commissioner, but just as a resident of town. Economic development has been stated several times as a primary focus for the town of Simsbury by the Board of Selectmen and the town manager. If that is the case, then transparency in how the work is done is essential, in my opinion. A chartered economic development commission provides clear public forum for these discussions. The meeting agendas and recommendations are open, documented, and accessible to the residents. Removing the commission risks moving economic development into the background into a less transparent process. It's also notable that as it relates to economic development, the proposed charter changes consist only of deletions with no replacement structures. However, I understand, that was the scope of the committee's charge. However, this still calls into question how much of a priority economic development truly is in the town if there's nothing in the charter that reinforces it. I would also note that, the vast majority of the reviewed towns address economic development pretty clearly in their charter. Economic development conversations will be crucial over the next several years, certainly the full length of this charter, not only to lessen the tax burden on residents, but to stabilize the grant list, support town services, and guide growth in a way that reflects community priorities. For that reason, this conversation needs to remain in the foreground. Lastly, I found that the term economic development can be somewhat polarizing in our town, but I believe it should not be viewed negatively or as a threat. Rather, it should be embraced thoughtfully. This could be an opportunity for the town to take an active and transparent role in reshaping the economic future through visible, structured, and accountable processes. Eliminating the Economic Development Commission removes one of the town's most transparent tools for doing exactly that. Thank you again and appreciate the time.
Thank you, Matt. Mike, I believe you're up next.
Yeah, I think that was well said by Charmaine and Matt. I don't have anything prepared. I think
I just need you to state your name and address. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Mike Scurso, 8 Flintlock Ridge. I think what I would probably say is we're in constant competition for everything, right? For residents, for businesses, and that competition maintains our quality of services, the quality of schools. And if we don't have something dedicated in town, and we could debate what structure, I think that commission or whether it's volunteer or something on staff, I think that could be debated on what structure it is. But without that, to Matt's point, without that on the forefront, I think the town will be at a disadvantage when we compete for those businesses, helping businesses that are currently in town, ultimately attracting residents and further growth to town that is in a sustainable, smart way, and help guide the board and the various town other commissions on making smart choices. And it's been a pleasure to be part of the EDC for the last year plus. And I think it would be a disservice not to have that commission or something like this commission, going forward. I have been a resident off and on, I guess, since 1983. I love the town. I think that, again, like my biggest point of view is that we're competing against other towns, and we need to be aggressive for, keeping our spot as a premier destination for families and for businesses. And having a commission is, one of the best ways to do that.
Okay, thank you. Is that Gary next?
My name is Gary Schless. I live at 63 Money Sunk Drive. I've lived in Simsbury for the past 26 years or so. So my job is a commercial real estate broker, dealing with office buildings and office space around the greater Hartford area. And I've seen the struggle that towns have had with abundant vacant office space. And obviously that leads to lower grand list, higher taxes, etc. I am a member of the Economic Development Commission. I've only been on the commission for 2 months, so I'm fairly new and haven't seen any of the historical things that they may have done in the past. But the only thing I would add, I don't want to beat a dead horse from what Charmaine and Matt and Mike have said. But the people on this commission care about the town. They're willing to put in their own time to try to make a difference. And I guess to me, it just doesn't make sense for the EDC to be cut from the charter. Even if we do one thing that helps grow the grand list, it's not costing the town anything. It's our time and we're willing to spend it. And to me, that just doesn't make any sense. For example, one of the things that we're doing is we're meeting with a current landlord who has a vacant building in town, vacant office building, to try to see how we can help him, whether it's land new tenants, whether it's repurpose the building, etc. So being new only 2 months, I think we have a lot of good ideas, and just wanted to add that. Thanks.
Thanks, Gary. Is it Leland?
Yes.
Leland, did you?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Leland. I live and work here in Simsbury. I live at 805 Highcroft Place. Lived here in Simsbury for the last 9 years full time, but my family's been here for many generations. And I'm here to echo the comments already made from some of my peers in the EDC and urge the body to reconsider the decision to remove the EDC from the charter. As you heard from Charmaine, Matt, Mike, and Gary, Simsbury needs to prioritize sustainable and purposeful grand list growth. And I won't be able to point too much because I know you've heard a lot about today, but grand list growth in Simsbury has been relatively flat while our costs continue to rise. A lot of that is non-discretionary, so it means that we simply won't be able to cut our way out of these problems. Because of that and other reasons, we know that grand list growth is a top priority for Simsbury. And so the question is, how can we achieve grand list growth and help offset some of these costs without a dedicated standing commission? And even if you could, why wouldn't you leverage voluntary expertise in the area, given that it's a key strategic relevant area for the town, and especially in tight economic conditions like the ones we find ourselves in. So I'll just keep it short. We're an active committee of professionals and experts who are willing to volunteer our time to tackle the key area of economic development for the town at no cost to taxpayers. And I think that eliminating the EDC just eliminates economic development capacity and moves us in the wrong direction and potentially sends the wrong signal to the electorate that we don't care about this the economic development in Simsbury. For those reasons, I hope you'll reconsider the elimination of the EDC from the charter.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you, Leland. Is there anybody else in public audience? Ray? Can you turn your camera on, Ray?
Yeah, Ray Lagan here.
Can you state your
I don't have the
address?
camera on, no.
Okay,
But
Ray, can you state your address,
yes,
please?
my name is Ray Lagan. I live at 27 Saddle Ridge Drive in West Simsbury.
Thank you.
Sure. My comments are very brief because it's really everything you've heard already, but I do feel it's important to state it from my opinion as well. So I'm very thankful for the time you all have spent, and I know it's very thankless sometimes, so thank you again for putting the time, the effort, the decision-making that you have. But I'd like to go along with the other sentiment that you've heard so far this evening. I am the Executive Director for the combined Granby and Simsbury Chamber of Commerce. And one of our missions at the Chamber is to help establish and grow local businesses here in Simsbury. And we work very closely with the EDC and feel very supported by them. The EDC has been a great asset in that effort through networking and helping with event promotions for the Chamber. And since, as it's been stated, the EDC is not a burden or a liability to the town in any way, I don't see why they would be eliminated from the charter. So I request, like the others that you've heard, that we keep the EDC as part of the town charter. Thank you.
Thanks, Ray. Any other public comments? Okay, seeing none, we're gonna move to the next item on the agenda, which is to review and adopt your proposed charter. In your packets, you have,
Do you do the minutes?
oh, I'm sorry.
minutes.
Okay, we'll go back to the minutes, I'm sorry. Next item on the agenda is to approve the December 17th minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move to accept.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Abstain.
Thank you.
Can I just ask a question? Did you really sing the Pledge of Allegiance?
No.
It says, all present sang the Pledge of Allegiance. I just wanted to point that out. I thought you guys were having a good time when we weren't.
I hummed.
A little zip to it.
Birthday.
She wasn't here, but she was the only one who picked that.
Point of clarification, the pledge is sang.
Okay.
Well, we do have a wreath here.
I know, that's what I figured, you know? Okay, sorry.
Okay, review and adopt the proposed charter.
Thank you.
First, I would like to thank Bob and Franklin for their time during the holidays, from our last meeting, getting this pulled together. In your packets, you have a red line version, a clean version, a copy of all the research that we did that Franklin did and Bob did during that time frame, and a copy of our draft report, which is the next item on the agenda. Okay. So, and as Paul noted, prior to the beginning of the meeting, this is our 24th meeting because he counted. So I think at this point, hopefully everybody's had a chance to review everything. I wanna have a discussion if there's anything that anybody has noticed that they would like changed. We've obviously had some public comments today and that we probably wanna discuss. And Jacqueline?
Oh, I didn't mean to.
Oh.
I thought you were-
Oh, no, go ahead.
So I didn't have a chance to go back to the July meeting where we discussed the EDC removal, and it may have been more than one, but I remember one specifically. Did we get comments that asked for it to be removed, or was it more a discussion among
Was it just
ourselves? I don't remember a public comment.
one of the charges from the Board of Selectmen
No,
was
yes.
to look at reducing the number of boards and commissions potentially in the charter. So full disclosure to the public, I'm a former member of EDC. I was the former chair of EDC prior to the new form of government, so a while ago, okay? But just for full disclosure. I think our conversation stemmed around, it's an appointed advisory board, and one of the recommendations that we have in our report is we're eliminating it from the charter, but we're recommending that the Board of Selectmen enact an ordinance that has a lot of, hopefully some teeth behind it for the EDC structure and their role. Because one of the other recommendations we have in our charter is that those ordinances are reviewed every 4 years.
There was something about Simsbury Main Street partnership.
So Simsbury Main Street currently has an MOU with the town, for Wendy, I'm gonna look at you because I don't have a copy of the MOU in front of me, but
Today,
Simsbury Main Street has an MOU in place as part of their role for economic development. Am I speaking out of turn, Wendy?
No.
Okay. So they have a role in that, and they're paid
Your payroll.
staff position. EDC doesn't have a budget. They don't have authority to speak on behalf of the town to develop. There's things that they can't do. There's things that they do. And I don't think our intention was to make economic development not a priority, but to raise it to the level of having it as an ordinance, so it was more
Advisory.
concrete and structured and goes along with the mission and the vision of the board of selectmen that are in place at that time, right? Instead of it just living in the charter as you have to have 6 members and that's pretty, or whatever the number is and have it as that. So I think that's kind of how we got there, but
And if I remember rightly, could be wrong, that's the only current chartered commission that is not elected. All the other ones.
no, there's others that are
Those like
appointed,
the
aging and
historical,
disability.
fair rent,
Those are appointed. Those are not elected.
housing, right, they're not elected.
Those are not elected.
Okay, then I apologize.
Confusion from our end, or my end at least, was what was their charge? What did they do? And whether that belonged in the charter. And so we didn't, I didn't get that kind of, get the clarity other than that economic development is important, which I think we all agree with. It is important. But the question is, does it belong in the charter or does it go into an ordinance where, with a structure and a charge to it that they can work with? Because the charter only says, go to the ordinance. That's what it currently says. And so we were given the charge to look into these boards and commissions and see what belonged in the charter and what didn't. And because we didn't have that kind of clarity as to what economic development did other than economic development, which is an abstract term, we figured it would be better in the ordinance, and that is my recollection of our discussion.
Because certain ones are statutory, that are required,
Right.
and we looked at some that said, okay, they're not, they could be done based upon on an ordinance.
Right.
Sorry.
If it stays in the charter, it's got to have a definition. It's got to have some boundaries to it, and being in the charter and then the charter says go. It's in the charter and now go to the ordinance. It might as well sit in an ordinance where it's just clearer. They have more authority, and they have more structure, and they can change according to the needs of the town as it changes with the work that they do.
Versus the charter, which can't change.
With the charter, which cannot change.
So I'm gonna. Point of clarification, the charter can change every 7 years.
Right. Well,
No, we know that, but
Not as easily, I
But not as
easily as we are finding out.
Not as easily as the ordinance though, as if now we want to go in this direction for economic development.
like
Now we
6
want to
months from
focus,
now- 6 months from now, an AI revolution takes place and EDC wants to do something. They're like a pirate ship, right? They should be able to go.
Yeah.
And so that was the reasoning.
Yeah, I'm going to repeat what all of you have said, just to make it clear, for the benefit of the public that's obviously very interested in this, is that eliminating the requirement for an EDC from the charter doesn't mean that this commission is recommending that we terminate the EDC or it not exist anymore. It's just making it possible for the Board of Selectmen, in conjunction with the town staff, to organize and delineate the processes for economic development as they go forward, and to make any changes that they want to make in between charter revisions. Is that fair?
That is very fair, and we appreciate the work that the volunteers that are on
Yeah,
the commission and the work that they do, but we wanted to give them the ability to have the Board of Selectmen align their structure with the goals of the board and the town.
This
Jeff wanted to
is
say
a historical question for Jeff, but didn't we do the same with design review last time? It wasn't the charter, we took it out of the charter, and it's still there under
The zoning.
the zoning.
Yeah.
So it still is an active committee.
This is Ron Jodis.
Hi,
Could
Ron.
I have a moment to speak?
Yeah.
I can't see you. I'm on a train right now, so I don't really want to turn on my video. Bouncing all over. So I was on the EDC commission for 6 years. And what I found was that depending on who was in the Board of Selectmen, we were restricted quite a bit, very narrowly what we were allowed to do. And as far as the Main Street Partnership goes, I don't know if anybody's looked at how that works, but the last budget I could see, or filing by the Main Street Partnership, was that they got about $85,000 worth of funds from the town, and about 3/4 of that went to the salary for the Main Street Partnership. So they are, most of that money goes to paying someone to run that organization, whereas the EDC commission is all volunteers. And if you look across the board to other towns in the state, $85,000 is about what towns our size typically spend on EDC if they do have an EDC commission. So there's definitely a conflict with having an EDC commission unfunded and having a paid, private, even though it's a nonprofit organization that's being funded by the town. And my feeling would be that if we removed it from the charter, it would just disappear as a commission. Right now, even though the charter doesn't spell out specifically details of what the commission does, it does require that it exists. And I know you're talking about having an ordinance for it, but that is an option. So whether that would happen, I can't say one way or another, but from my experience, of how throttled down the EDC commission was allowed to operate, I would think it probably would be. And I think it's an important function for a town to have. The Free Partnership does good work, but it's focused on a small section of the town. And from what the types of businesses I've seen come in are pretty much retail, restaurant, small shops, that kind of stuff. It really isn't focused at all on bringing industrial into the town of Simsbury. And typically that is a good chunk of the grand list in most towns are the commercial and industrial businesses. So there really isn't, from what I've seen, anybody pushing for that or working to bring those types of businesses into the town right now. So, as a former commissioner, I think it would be a loss to remove it from the charter.
He's muted.
Oh, he muted himself. So Jeff wanted to say something, and then Melissa wants to say something.
The way I look at it, and I want to reiterate actually what Bert said, and I don't think anybody disagrees with any of the comments in public eye, right? We are all, at the end of the day, right? We're all taxpayers, right? Yeah. We want really targeted, appropriate grand list growth, and we're all around this table aware of taxes. For me, it's a matter of it's very confusing, our approach to economic development in this town. We've got so many entities with their hands in this issue. And again, for me, I don't think anybody is suggesting the EDC group go away. It's more of where's it housed, right? And I think, put that aside, is also with one of the job performance goals we added to the town manager list was economic development. He or she is going to need that group to fulfill that job responsibility. So it seems to be quite, and Chris mentions, actually I think it makes it a little bit more nimble if it's housed under the town manager. But that's kind of my 2 cents.
if I can say something, because I am on the board of directors of Main Street Partnership, and we don't just do a little bit, we do the entire town. Originally, in 1996, it was what I call bank to bank. You know, Simsbury Bank to Webster Bank, obviously it's bigger than that, it's town-wide. And there has been some huge industrial, not just small mom and pops and huge things that Main Street helped drive. And one of them, and Wendy can attest to this, is to keep those Ensign Bickford jobs now coming here into California. Main Street was a huge partner in that. That's economic development. And there's a lot of times that a nonprofit organization like Main Street Partnership can apply for grants and money running that the town cannot, and you're not eligible to apply for. We've done parking studies, we've done other things on behalf of the town, paying for with the funds that we get funded by privately and publicly, and that's how the organization nationwide is actually set up. It is a public-private partnership. It's not just Simsbury, it is all over the country set up that way. And one of the main drivers is keeping the feel of the town, which a lot of people also said, I don't want this big thing, I don't like this big thing, keeping the town and the feel of Simsbury, but along increasing that grand list, increasing the businesses, finding unique ways and funding that town cannot do because of the not-for-profit status that we have. And more of our funding goes for an executive director, but we do our own fundraising as well to pay for her salary. So it's not just her salary only. There's a lot of other grant writing and other things that we pay for to have done. That's just a little input on Main Street. I'm a little biased. But there's a lot more than just getting the little mom and pops in. It does work on the bigger stuff as well.
So if we were to keep the EDC in the charter, how would they work? How do they work now? And what are their deliverables? What do they do?
Those are the questions.
Those are the questions that I think should be addressed in an ordinance.
Yeah.
If we're gonna keep it in there, then we need to define all that, and I don't think that's a good idea, so I think that's why we were not getting into that topic, because it's best left to people that want their goals aligned with the goals of the EDC.
Because the goals of the town may change.
It's not for us to decide.
Yes.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you.
The goals can change.
That's right. And so
And with an ordinance, the goals can change with the Board of Selectmen adopting a new ordinance.
Right. And if the people change the Board of Selectmen, that's because they want that change.
Mm-hmm.
And so the EDC would have to adopt to that change. If we were to keep it in the charter, then we would have to define how that stays nimble with what the people want, because it's tied to what the policies of the Board of Selectmen. And so I don't understand. I mean, I don't have that clarity as to what they are supposed to do, what they have done, how that's going to work.
Well, and I think what they do changes.
Yes.
Based on the economy and the vision and the goals and.
And again, I think if you put it all together, I think it actually it's maybe counterintuitive, but I actually think it gives it more teeth, because if you put it all together, right, they are under the town manager. Town manager's goal is economic development. If the town manager doesn't fulfill that goal, Board of Selectmen are going to take them to task, saying, "Hey, you've got this group, and you're not delivering. What's the deal?"
Right.
So maybe I'm looking at it completely different, but I actually think it gets them a little more powerful.
In ordinance versus.
Yes.
I totally agree with you.
Just point of information, Madam Chair and the Commission. Code Chapter 9-2 illustrates the purpose of the EDC. It's advisory to the Board of Selectmen. The purpose of the EDC is to promote and develop the economic resources of the town and advance the town's economic development goals as defined by the Board of Selectmen. The Commission is empowered to conduct research into economic conditions and trends and to collaborate with community organizations which promote economic development. Just to answer the...
So it's already in the code of ordinances.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's already.
But
It
like
can be better defined.
yes.
Yeah, but what are the goals, right?
And it's
Right.
one of
that's
it's actually one of the few commissions in town that actually has a reporting requirement in the code. It's actually on or before the 31st day of October each year. The commission actually has to report and submit to the Board of Selectmen an annual report on its activities and, if applicable, recommendations for improving the economic condition and development of the town. This is 9-5 in the code.
But equally important, if somehow this revised charter were adopted tomorrow, went into effect and no longer provided for the EDC would still be there under the
Yes.
ordinance. So
Yes.
by no means
Doesn't
are
go
we
away.
changing the status quo.
It doesn't go away.
But
It's
from
just
the
where it
charter-
lives.
I mean, the charter perspective, I guess, the Aging and Disability Commission is maybe the most applicable, where it's just saying, you know, a commission shall have other powers and duties not inconsistent. The rest are referencing a general statute, which makes EDC and I guess aging
Well, I
and
think
disability.
I think the EDC portion of it gets complicated because of the MOU with Main Street
And a town manager too.
and a town manager who's responsible for economic development. So there's it's like a stool, right? There's different legs to the stool that are
They have to work together.
and then they have to work together. So unless you define it very specifically in the charter, the ordinance is really, in my opinion, the place where the Board of Selectmen can define it in relationship to the town manager's goals, the MOU that's in place for Main Street, so it's a cohesive plan versus a couple sentences in the charter.
And it follows the goals by the board of select, but I think it also, the town manager can, I think, direct money towards it as well.
Yeah.
In the ordinance.
So to Bert's point, if it's not in the charter, it still doesn't go away unless the Board of Selectmen says that they don't want it anymore.
But then if that were their choice as our elected officials, repeal the ordinance because it doesn't align with their goals, and that's their
Or they can
prerogative
make an
to do.
adjustment to the ordinance.
Or they can make an adjustment to the ordinance, that's
Like that
their,
versus, yeah.
that's their job, right?
Well, I think
What's
that's
the guarantee that an ordinance will be created to do that?
It already exists.
It already exists, Ron.
In the charter that the
It already
It already
exists.
exists. Franklin
That's
just
what
read it to
Franklin-
us.
I was on the, as I said, I was on the commission for 6 years, and the Board of Selectmen was they guided the EDC on what we were allowed to do. I mean, it's like a simple thing like creating a strategic plan. We were told, we don't want you to do that, and they had us spending time on other things. And there's really no funds that go to it, so
But with
it's
the
already been diminished substantially, so.
But with the
But
ta- with the
that's a
town.
choice of elected official issue, then
As I
you
said,
don't like.
3/4 of the
Board of
budget,
Selectmen.
3/4 of the budget money, 3/4 of the budget money that goes to the Main Street Partnership goes to salaries. Whereas the EDC doesn't have any budget at all, so it's difficult to get anything done with $0.
Does CDC have use staff time?
Yes, they have more liaisons, as I understand it, than they do commission members at this time, because there's liaisons. There's like 9, I think, or I was trying to count all the liaisons to EDC, but
So there is funds indirectly.
indirectly, there's staff time being used for EDC. I mean, just historically, and this has not been funded in decades, but prior to me being on EDC, there was a fund, it's called the Economic Development Fund. Okay, there was a fund that was funded through our budget mechanisms that allowed a discretionary fund that could be used for tax abatements and incentives for developers. That has not been funded in a long time.
I remember that one.
Okay. It used to exist, maybe, I'm gonna date myself, maybe 15, 20 years ago, okay? It hasn't been funded in a long time for budgetary reasons, but that, at that time, was the mechanism that they could use to entice developers with incentives, but they couldn't do that without approval from the board anyway, right? But the money was there. So, all right, so we've talked about EDC.
Just point of
We're gonna-
clarification, Madam Chair, there's 6 liaisons and 7 regular
Okay,
members.
so equal, okay.
And that
Maybe
includes staff.
Maybe I
as well?
counted
That does
you and
not
Mark.
6 liaisons, including the Board of Selectmen, the Zoning Commission, the Planning Commission, Chamber of Commerce, Simsbury Main Street Partnership, and the Library Business and Career Center Coordinator. And the staff, it is usually myself, the town manager, Mark Nelson, who's ex officio,
And George McGregor.
Planning Director McGregor at times attends meetings. Correct.
Okay, so are there any other discussions related to any other parts of the proposed revised charter?
Can I just ask Ron I just wanna make sure Ron's heard. Ron, this is Jeff, can you hear me?
It's muted.
You get it wrong.
Yes, I
You're
can.
on mute, Ron.
I just,
Can you hear?
yeah, if I'm hearing you right, the concern is that there's been little direction from the Board of Selectmen, which I have no reason to dispute. There's certainly.
I wouldn't say it's little direction. It's direction to be little. That way.
Well,
Pre-town manager.
however you want to say it. There's the budget issue. You should say that. But then I guess what I'm hearing is yours.
Can I interrupt
Yeah,
one second?
please.
Because I just want to clarify Ron's comments. Ron, you were a member of EDC prior to the town manager.
Yes, for 6 years.
Prior to the town manager form of government, right?
Correct.
Okay, I just want to
But
be
we
clear.
got our direction from the Board of Selectmen.
Right, but I want to be clear that when you're referring to the Board of Selectmen, it's not our current Board of Selectmen.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
So, but I guess where I'm going with this is there's clear frustrations you're expressing with the current structure, but ultimately you want to keep it. Am I?
Yes,
I can say that kind of bluntly. And I'm not trying. There's nothing behind that. I'm just what I
Yes,
guess.
I would prepare to make a motion to not strike it from the charter.
But how
I
would
don't know
that,
how much detail we have from a charter's perspective that we should be getting into as to formulating what the EDC should do. I think that should still be up to the Board of Selectmen, and that could be done by an ordinance.
So Ron, are you
If
making
it's
a
totally reliant on the ordinance.
But isn't it?
what I'm struggling with is if you feel that the Board of Selectmen, under the current structure, was limiting the operations of the EDC to an unhealthy degree, how is leaving everything unchanged going to help?
Thank you, Bert.
I don't know. That's something that has to be resolved. I mean, you have two organizations that are kind of the same thing, but one of them is basically taking the entire budget that other towns would use for it. I don't know. Maybe that's what.
But there's an assumption there you're making, right? That EDC would get that money, right?
If I'm not saying to remove Main Street, but Main Street is absorbing funds that a typical town would have for their EDC. So I don't know where other funds would be
Actually,
available for the EDC.
in slight argument, the funds that go towards Simsbury Main Street Partnership is less than one single economic development director that a town would hire, if you want to put it that way. Not a volunteer base or a committee, but an actual hired staff member who would be an economic development coordinator who is hired by the town. You can't get that for $85,000.
Right.
So I think, Ron,
And that's a different model. And there are towns,
okay.
some of I think the larger cities, that's all they have fully
So,
staffed
Ron?
departments, and they don't rely on a commission.
Ron, have you made a motion?
Yes. I would like to make a motion to not strike the EDC commission requirement from the town charter, yes.
Do I have a second of that
I'll
motion?
second that motion. Yeah.
You second that?
Yes, we'll bring it to a vote.
Is there any further discussion?
Just to be clear, the motion is to keep it in the charter.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
Okay, so we're gonna take a vote. There's no further discussion, correct?
I would argue that at least in the current text that we struck is somewhat inadequate compared to other, commissions or committees that we define. But I was looking back at the last revision, and I think there was a matching paragraph that was removed, and then this is what was put in place for EDC. So it was previously matching more of kind of the public building commission or others, and same verbiage and how we describe what a committee does and where it gets its rules and powers from. But I think
Okay.
it is what it is.
So we're gonna take a vote. All in favor keeping EDC in the charter, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Aye.
Opposed.
Okay, motion does not carry. Thank you. Do I have another motion on the floor?
I
Or
move,
Bob?
Yeah, I just wanted to report, there's one section here that says, ask me to speak.
Oh, you're reporting.
Oh, yes, on the,
I did do that. Nick and I had a good conversation this afternoon. And just for reference, it's in section 705.
Yes, the bottom of 705.
705.
Yeah, and we talked about it, and his concern was a couple of things. He wants to leave it in.
I'm sorry, Bob, who did you talk to?
Police chief.
The police chief, Nick Bolton.
Okay.
I said, explain to him, legally you probably don't need it because sworn officers have to enforce the criminal code of the state of Connecticut. That's what they swear an oath to. But his view was, he doesn't, a couple things. One, he doesn't want to delete anything that could be construed as backing away from town of Simsbury enforcing the law. And secondly, he said, well, what if in the future, some future Board of Selectmen wrote an ordinance or some other resolution telling the police department not to enforce a particular law, and he brought up the whole immigration issue. I said, well, state law would supersede that, but I get your point. There would be a discussion whether the local law applied or the state law applied. In my opinion, the state law would apply, but I get your point. And if it's in there, if it stays in there, then it's clear that the Board of Selectmen through an ordinance or some other enactment would not only violate state law, they also violate the charter. And that was his recommendation is leave it in. It's not hurting anything. It's been in there a long time, and it supports the concept that the police department in the town of Simsbury is sworn to support and enforce the laws of the state of Connecticut.
And from your legal opinion, you're okay with leaving it in as written?
Absolutely. It's not inconsistent with state law.
Okay.
So
the question that it raised or it presented when we first discussed it is, who are the members of the police department who are not police officers but who have law enforcement responsibilities?
the only one I can think of is the animal control officer. Other than that, I don't know any position within the police department that's not a sworn officer that has.
The dispatchers and support staff do not have police duties.
No, they don't.
Right.
I mean, I guess what makes me uncomfortable about this provision is that I don't know who's being given power to enforce criminal laws by this language, because there's nothing, I'm not familiar with anything in the statutes either that specifies who within a police department has law enforcement responsibilities. I think that's open to interpretation, and so personally I don't like it. But that's really all I have to say about it.
So how would we draft it to provide that kind of clarity? What would we need in there?
Well, that's just it. I don't, if someone has law enforcement responsibilities under the law, then I can't imagine that there's any, what does it mean to have law enforcement responsibilities other than to have been granted authority to enforce criminal laws?
Trying to get back to it, I lost it.
Yeah, I just think it's either superfluous or it's nefarious, but I really am comfortable with it.
Hold on, I need a dictionary.
All members of the police department, except clerical and other personnel without law enforcement responsibilities, shall have the same powers and duties with respect to the service and criminal process as are vested in police officers.
Right, so it says there are some people in the police department who don't have law enforcement responsibilities, or they have clerical work. and then all the others are going to be authorized to enforce the law. Now, who is it who's authorized to enforce the law right now? Right, other than police officers? Well, you said maybe an animal control officer, but should an animal control officer be enforcing the criminal law?
Well, I don't know that, well, there are criminal laws regarding the treatment of
regarding animals.
Okay,
again, I don't.
But I don't want to be charged with embezzlement.
Are they not already defined as having?
I don't know. That's the thing. I'm not comfortable approving this when I have no idea what it means or what it's going to do.
It does nothing, is what it means.
Well,
basically
in that
saying
case,
going
then
back to the
I-
general
But removing
statutes.
it does a lot by probably getting people angry, potentially.
Well, why don't we let the Board of Selectmen pass an ordinance about it?
Yeah. I don't think anything would change if this were deleted from the charter. And the police chief expressed to me his opinion, and I'm conveying that to you, and I'm okay with leaving it in because, again, it has no legal effect. Is there some message it would send by deleting it? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. And I'm not insisting. I mean, I don't think we need to debate it any further. I've expressed my reservations.
It's vague either
Except
way.
that the first word in this highlighted paragraph is members, and it doesn't belong there.
Well, that we could delete.
So I don't know if this is currently in our draft or
It is in our draft.
It's in the draft.
It's in the draft.
I would make a motion to remove it from the draft.
Do you have a second to that?
Not even for the okay.
Sure. No, I'll second.
I'll second it.
I'll
I
second
just don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I'll second it for you.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. Take a vote. All in favor of removing this paragraph from the proposed charter revision, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Ron, you're the tiebreaker.
Is he still there?
I apologize. I don't understand this issue enough that I feel like I could make a decision
Wow.
to swing it one way or another.
Tie.
So I
Feels
guess-
It's a
How
tie.
about that?
So it
That's a new
stays in?
Yeah.
So it stays in.
Motion fails because it didn't pass.
Okay.
How about the word members? Want to take that out?
I think we
They take that word out.
Yeah, can we?
We can take the word member.
Take the
By
word.
consensus, you can take that word out.
Yeah.
Okay. So then do I have a motion?
Is this indented under
Right.
chief of police?
It's right
Yeah.
Is
I
it
have one thing.
sit
should
under
be.
there or?
Just under section 101 transfers,
Oh, at the beginning, huh?
transfer of powers, it's at the very end, under chapter X. Chapter 10.
Oh, chapter 10.
Sorry, 1001.
1001.
1001.
You said one.
It says effective as, comma, the earliest of, comma, of. I think one of those ofs should come out, but
The earlier of
Yeah,
the
there's two
first
ofs.
Monday.
Find this inside.
Yeah, the of after the comma should
Chapter
leave.
10.
yeah, that should,
The
that
of
just,
after the comma should go.
yeah, just one minor thing.
Gotcha.
I did have a concern
Shouldn't it
about,
be effective as of the earlier of the first Monday?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so it should
Yeah, let's do that now.
move it, yeah.
I'm not an English person.
I did have concern about our wording on public audience. You and I chatted a little bit about that. Where it says regular or special meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't recall that we had talked about public audience at special meetings.
So this
I thought it
is,
was just regular, hold on, if I
Okay,
could
go
just finish. I understand this is a special meeting and we decided we were gonna have public audience, which could be the same thing in any others, but I'm thinking about, like a Board of Finance meeting where all of a sudden they've got an issue, they got a special meeting to do an appropriation. They have to have public audience for that?
well, shouldn't the public have an opportunity to talk about an appropriation?
They don't now. It's not a
Well,
regular
but we-
meeting, it's a morning meeting to boom, to just do something, I don't know, did we talk about adding special? That's the one thing. If we did and I missed it, I'm okay with it. It's just, I didn't recall we had talked about adding the word special.
I recall that we talked about it.
I recall we talked about it.
But I don't remember what we decided. But
I thought we included it.
I thought we included it.
Because of exactly what we're doing, like, this would have been 6 months of
Special meeting.
special meetings where there would have been no requirement for public audience.
No, but we agreed to have public audience.
Yeah, but no, I think, but what I guess what I'm asking, this was the example that we were using.
But it's true, a lot of special meetings just represent meetings that are held outside the regular calendar, but aren't necessarily momentous things. And, at least with the Board of Finance, when we feel there's an issue that's come up that's going to require some contentious debate, we generally voluntarily open it to special, to public audience. But it may be that for something like zoning,
Oh, that was the discussion.
Yes.
they'd be there all night if they had to open these meetings to every meeting to public audience.
Well, but their meetings aren't subject to public audience if it has to do with a current application.
Right, if there's a current application, so we went through that,
Yeah.
so, okay, well, we could leave it at, that was the only thing I had.
Can you remind me of that section? Is it-
I love that you're calling them on it.
Help me out here,
I
Franklin.
need my phone to find it.
I know.
Yeah, we're looking at the
The
public audience.
requirement.
That's gonna be in chapter 6.
Chapter 6?
Section 601D.
All elected and appointed boards and commissions as part of the rules and procedures.
Oh, no, is that?
Yes, shall allow for public audience
Yes,
at
okay, thank
regular
you.
and special meetings.
Oh, one,
Yep, okay.
It's a shall.
Yeah, it's right
it's a
there, okay.
Okay, anything else?
Yep, just one thing, Madam Chair, at your July 21st meeting, you requested that Bob and I order
Oh,
in
the,
chapter 6, appointed boards and commissions. Town Attorney DiCrescenzo did the research on which boards and commissions are statutorily required. And the commission asked us to organize, I guess, the whole chapter just to section 601A and everything else following in that chapter, just organize it where the statutory required boards and commissions are listed first and then all the others after. You didn't mention about categorization. You didn't mention explicitly stating that those were statutory, but you mentioned organizing it, so that, just wanted to bring it up to the commission again to see if that is still necessary or asked of us, because that is a change that we can do that wouldn't change anything other than the numbering and the lettering. So that would be, that could be doable, is what I'm saying.
So I have a quick question. If something changes in state statute that you must have this new AI commission, let's just say, but is not in our charter, what would happen?
state law.
State law supersedes. That's why I'm just.
No, we discussed it as an organizational
The order they're
point.
listed, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It was a formatting issue, not a content issue.
Okay.
It was just a formatting issue, not an issue, discussion.
I think it would be helpful for the next charter review to know why it's in this order, honestly. Right? I'm thinking you guys that were in this before.
Well, you guys on the next one.
Not me.
Just kidding.
I don't think it would hurt.
Right, yeah.
So-
I think you're probably right, yeah.
So we could just from a legal standpoint, if we chose to have you reorder it just from a formatting issue, we could make the motion with that and still
Sure. Accept the draft.
accept the draft.
Yeah, and you're gonna get another chance to vote on this after your public hearing. So if you hear something at the public hearing that
Right.
you wanna change, or even if you didn't hear it at the public hearing and you wanna change it, you're gonna have a chance to do that before
So
you
it's-
send it
So
to
essentially then the motion tonight would be moving this draft forward as amended, as you'll amend
Yeah,
it
let me,
for amending, right?
let me look up the statute just to get the phrase from the statute, just to make sure that.
I just wanna be sure.
Right.
I agree.
While he's doing that, can I talk about this just briefly? While you're doing that, Bob? Just one,
So just for the public, Paul wants to go to the draft report
Do we have
that
to,
is in the packet.
do we have to adopt the
But
charter?
we have to, we do have to, I think we should,
I'm only doing it for discussion purposes, not to accept it. So I think you can move to that item. Just one quick thing. Okay, under page 27, just ordering where it says chapter 1, I suggested this to Franklin earlier that we use the Roman numeral and put the title of the section
okay,
there, like chapter 2, elections.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Just
that's a
so
good
it's easier
suggestion.
for the public to understand
cross-reference.
when you're doing that. That's my
Excellent.
only comment that
That's,
I wanted to make.
yeah, that sounds great.
Okay,
Thank
so what you're doing now is you're moving to approve the draft report, including the proposed charter amendments, to transmit to the clerk of the municipality, who shall transmit such report to the appointing authority. But you're not gonna do that. You're gonna move to approve the draft report, and send it to public hearing.
So we have two motions.
I broke it up on the
What am I gonna
agenda
do?
as two separate
charter.
things.
The charter.
The charter
report
first.
Probably not the
Yes.
best way to do it. I could have done it all in one.
No, I like it.
I
No,
accept
no,
that.
we're
No,
gonna,
I
so
think
we're gonna,
that's- I think
let's
that's
address
right.
the charter first. So do I have, can someone make a motion?
I move that we approve the charter, subject to whatever revisions we made today, and send it to the Board of Selectmen,
To the town clerk?
to the town clerk.
You're not gonna do that yet.
It's
Send it
public
to the
hearing.
Public hearing, yeah,
Send it to the public hearing.
public hearing.
I move that we approve the charter as amended this evening and send it to public hearing.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, motion carries. Ron? I don't know if he's there or not.
He's muted.
Maybe a train tunnel.
He could be in a tunnel.
Oh,
Now he's gone.
no.
You still have a quorum.
That was a,
So,
that was a great vote.
Um,
Oh,
I thought I heard him whisper yes.
So,
There he is. There he is.
Now
Ron.
On mute.
okay.
Well, I think.
Ron, did you wanna vote?
Ron, you're on mute.
Yes, hello?
Hi,
Yes.
yes,
Okay, I apologize, my connection's been in and out.
That's
quite a
okay.
bit. That's why I couldn't really vote on the last one. But I believe I heard this is just a vote to send the charter
to public
to the
hearing,
public hearing?
yes,
Yes, I vote yes on that.
okay,
Hey.
thank you. Alright, so next item, do I have a motion?
I move to accept the draft report.
Second.
Can I just say, I think the report is excellent, and as somebody who drafts ponderous reports and memos all the time, I think this format was a great idea, and I appreciate the work that went into it.
I had a moment. With input from Paul and Franklin and Bob. It
is avant-garde.
I think it's a very concise report that hopefully is easy to navigate.
It's well organized, and
Yes.
it gets the information across.
Can I ask a question on the procedure of this? This is what gets presented to public audience or to eventually the Board of Selectmen?
Public audience, public hearing,
Hearing, sorry, public hearing.
Public hearing will close,
and then we have another vote.
and then you can, according to the statute, after that public hearing, which hopefully will be held January 21st, because you know I'm concerned about the dates and all that.
Point of information. After this is presented, will we also have a written format that can be in the file, similar to what we had last time?
This is a
It's in
PDF.
a Word, I know, but a Word document that could be written up fairly easily in a report format.
If the commission wishes, you could either have this as the report, because I think it could stand as a report, or you could embellish it with some narrative. I don't think you need to,
I'm fine with it as.
it's up to you. I think this satisfies the requirement of a report, as that term is used in the statute.
Do you see anything missing in there that?
No, it's just whenever you have I mean, yes, this is a PDF and you could use this as a PowerPoint, that's great. But, it's always nice to have like a Word document, that says, boom, from the chair, here's what we did, and it's in a Word format. I mean, it could be done fairly easily, I think, as an addition to, not a replacement.
Well, let's go back to that in a second. So we had a motion, we need a second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this? All in favor of moving this to public hearing?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ron?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Barry?
Yep.
Okay.
One point, you do have the opportunity to change anything in either document after the public hearing, so
Okay, right.
it's not set in stone.
So we can go back to that conversation after the public hearing to see if we wanna do this as a different format,
An additional format.
an additional format. Next item on the agenda is setting a public hearing. We have polled everybody and found a space large enough for January 21st, which I believe is the library?
Correct.
Yes. So, do I have a motion to set our public hearing for January 21st, 2026 at the
So
Simsbury
moved.
Public Library?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay. What? Ron?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, last motion of the evening.
I move to adjourn.
Do we have to set also an agenda, though, or no?
Not for the hearing, it's a public
Okay.
hearing.
So I was just reading the,
I see what you mean.
Oh, plan, we don't have to plan an agenda because the agenda is what we just voted on.
Do we have a discussion following the hearing?
We close the public hearing.
And then-
If we're able to close the public hearing, we close the public hearing.
And then the other action item that night will be the vote to send the draft report,
To the town clerk.
the proposed draft charter to the town clerk, and that satisfies your 16-month requirement.
In addition to accepting the minutes of today's meeting.
Yes, yes.
so we have a slight agenda.
Well, it's a tiny agenda, but that agenda can only happen after the public hearing.
Okay, no, I'm just double checking.
Now I move to adjourn.
Now she moves to adjourn, and we have a second, and all in favor?
Oh, sorry.
Aye.
Thank you all for your hard work and your time.
For over 40 years, SCM has been the voice of our town.
Bringing us together through local programming,
Education.
and live broadcasts.
SEM isn't just about television.
It's about empowering our community.
Ensuring our voices are heard during government meetings.
And celebrating milestones.
like our high school graduations.
But today, SEM faces a challenge.
Our funding structure is based on television subscriptions.
And it's no secret, people have been cutting the cord.
With a shift to internet-only subscriptions,
SCM receives less revenue.
Even though all our programming is freely available online.
We need your support.
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 Your donation can make a difference.
It will ensure that SCM remains open.
Continues to educate our youth and keeps our community informed.
Thanks to SCM, I've been honing my creative skills, helping me work towards my college degree.
SCM is crucial for keeping our community connected.
SCM isn't just here to broadcast local events. They're actually preserving Simsbury's history.
Join us.
Join us in preserving Simsbury's voice.
Simsbury's voice.
Together we can ensure that SCM continues to thrive
For generations to come.
Visit our website
Or scan the QR code on your screen to make your donation.
Every contribution
Counts.
Thank you for supporting Simsbury Community Media.
where your town
Your schools
and your government come together.